senseless violence, gun violence is one of the hot topics that we unite and collaborate to find solutions and resources for. So, that event happening did not by itself, create us gathering together, but that event is definitely one thing that we'll give some attention to and definitely be one of the broader subjects that we speak on today.
And today what we're gonna do, we're gonna interact with everybody here today. And instead of having this be some quick 20, 30-minute panel, and we just sit up here and discuss what we're good at, our accolades, the companies we may own or manage or run, that's not what we're here for. Our approach to the war on our community, the issues that plague our community, is to unite like the armed forces. And today what we're saying is, that's the Army, he's the Navy, they're the Marines, he's the Air Force, and we have other people that serve the role as the National Guard would, the Coast Guard would. So we have other subordinate bodies or appendant bodies that will join us in this. But what we've done is taken the stance and said, we're gonna develop some leadership in this coalition so that we can move forward together. So the first topic that we have is the most prevalent topic, senseless gun violence. A couple of days ago, we had an incident with a couple of students from this very school. Tragic, but blessedly not fatal. I have to acknowledge him. He likes to just do his job, play the bat, and let the day go by. But since we're gonna jump into this topic, in this fight, we're gonna have some heroes. We're gonna have some people that saved some people from detriment, from death, from imprisonment. And before we get going all the way, I'd like to recognize Coach Lowry. If any of y'all have kept up with that story from the other day, the coach that was driving that car and thought really, really swiftly, had the mindfulness to stop that car, three-point turn it, and get back to safety. And he saved those kids' life and his own. If y'all would give Coach Lowry a round of applause.
Good morning, my name is Mark Butler. I am the CEO and president of Tree Leadership Organization. Tree Leadership is a platform that addresses violence prevention tactics through year-round community leadership development. Our target is individuals that are ages 12 through 25, living in underserviced communities, who are threatened with the three factors: violence, incarceration, and recidivism. We all know that lack of education leads to poverty, and poverty leads to crime. So therefore, we have connected resources that can help mitigate those outcomes to end the school to prison pipeline. We right here in the Southern District of Dallas.
How's everyone doing today? My name is Shaheed Muhammad. I'm the local representative of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in South Dallas. We're in the streets every day for those who see us. We're doing door-to-door every day trying to do crime prevention. And what we have to offer is what we've been offering for the last 90 years, and it's a true knowledge of self and education and build the self-esteem of our communities to a level where the gun violence can cease. The root of it is, do we understand who we are? Spiritually, do we understand how we're connected to the human family? And where is the disconnect at in our community to where we can look at each other and gun each other down and have no feeling, no remorse, or no anything, to where our women they don't even feel safe in coming in our neighborhoods. And you say that we have a high crime neighborhood. How did this happen? Why did this happen? And why is it so difficult for us to change around this situation? So these are some of the solutions and some of the areas that I'm gonna touch on today during this dialogue and this talk, to see if we can come together and help. Do we have all of the answers? No. But what we do have is we have the will and the desire to change our community. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Latane Phillips. I am the CEO of Hunger Busters. Hunger Busters is an after-school feeding program, but more importantly, we're an education partner. The city of Dallas has about 156,000 students enrolled. Out of that, 92% of them are food insecure. What that means is at night they don't have dinner. The last meal they will eat is at lunch, and they won't eat again until they come back to school the next day. We bridge that gap. The reason why that's so important is because 3 major things that we find. The first thing is that attendance issues go down when a child gets a meal because when they wake up the next day, they don't feel like they're sick, so they go to school. The second thing is behavior issues. Everybody has seen the Snicker commercials that says you're not yourself when you're hungry. We've all been in meetings where the meeting has run a little bit too long and so we get fidgety. A child does not have the emotional skills to say, hey, I'm hungry, so I can't pay attention today. The last thing is we see the test scores go up. When test scores go up, graduation rates rise. When graduation rates rise, then we're more employable, we're more college ready, we're more trade school ready. The other thing that I want to point out is statistically, a child at 7 years old is typically when the first time they will steal. What they steal is something to eat. Over time, nobody's watching to see if a child is someone stealing chips or candy bars, so they develop a complex that says, I'll get away with it. So when they turn 15 or 16, they steal an electronic item and get charged with a felony, all because they didn't get fed at an early age.
My name is Landers Isom. I'm the local imam with Masjid Al-Quran, which is located just a block away on Cedar Crest Boulevard. Also, I'm the program specialist with the City of Dallas. What we are doing at this present moment is we are mentoring and going into the schools and addressing those social and emotional needs of the children. But to make a long story short for this moment, the thing that's most important that we address is that our past practices, right, in areas such as what? Our past cultural practices, our past educational practices, our past economic practices, and our past political practices. We need to reassess those. Why? Because in other communities, those individuals that practice those same things, they get the socioeconomic benefits out of those areas, whereas us, our practices, we don't get the socioeconomic benefits of our children graduating college and graduating high school. Why? Because unconsciously, we are the only group of people that's taught to get away from ourselves. So as we look at our community and we look at ourselves and our own benefits and say our successes, our AKAs, our Greeks, our quote-unquote businessmen, CEOs, we need to understand this. If you're from the hood, you're supposed to stay in the hood, right? Everybody wants to get out of the hood. We are the only group of people that's taught to get away from yourselves. Think about it. You shoot a jumper, get out the hood. Get good grades, get a good job, get out the hood. But what you ain't paying attention to is what we should be doing is getting the hood out of the condition it's in. Yes, sir. Understand this, the ground is no different than anything else in life. If you pull the minerals and nutrients out of it, the ground dry up. It crack. It's not fertile. Our children cannot grow in those environments. So you need to reassess your economic practices, right? So when you holler you're a black businessman and you come to the hood, but you don't live here, then that means your tax dollars go somewhere else when you file. See, so it's a lot we need to address, but we need to address most. Look at our past practices and see what you're getting out of it. And if you don't need to change them, we probably going in two different directions, right? Because what they say, the method of insanity is what?
Doing the same thing over and over, expect something different.
And I promise you, from our religious practices, that's what we doing, right? We praying and expecting something to fall out the sky.
My name is Pastor Maxie Johnson. I'm the school board trustee and second vice president. My district is District 5. As Brother Moore said, education and equity leads to poverty and poverty leads to violence, something I've been saying for a while. I'm also a parent that lost a son to senseless gun violence. And so we have a funding problem. So we have to fix the funding problem that's coming from statewide. And so these are issues that we've been dealing with at the school board also, but we have to deal with the fact that kids know what's going on. They know where the violence is, they know who started it, they know it before we know it. And so we have to really dive into it and be grassroots. I'm a grassroots person, I've been grassroots, and we're gonna continue to be grassroots because if you want real answers, you have to be working in the trenches. You can't lead from above, you got to lead from right there with the kids. And a lot of times we see people, they get in these seats and they forget where they come from. They lead from above. You have to stay where you are, you have to understand what's going on, and even as you grow, you still must be balanced. And so that's what we're going to talk about today, what's going on in our community and how we're going to try our best to bring solutions. There's no silver bullet to it, but together we can come up with a plan and execute that plan so we can make sure that we stop the violence, because our kids are supposed to bury us. We're not supposed to bury our children. And that's what's going on.
I am Robert Jackson, the leader of Straight Up Mentoring Program. We cover Dallas County, Collin County, and Grayson County. We positively infect and engage those who are struggling, not only in the schools. I'm a current special ed teacher, and I see the deficits of our students. What goes on home, I teach kids with behaviors, and I see the deficit. I see them hurting, the trauma that they dealt with. It has not been addressed. So with Straight Up Mentoring Program, what we do, we mentor kids who are autistic, who have behavioral problems, who are emotionally disturbed, special ed kids that are being overlooked and undressed.
I'm Stephen Poole, probably the most ordinary guy up here. All of them got titles, I don't. My background is education, juvenile justice, at-risk kids. Started years ago in Houston working for facilities for at-risk youth. Moved back to Dallas after I got out of college and started with the juvenile justice system here. Worked at Leetide, worked at Lone Star as a supervisor at out at Henry Wade, and then I transitioned into education. I've been an administrator in education, a specialist in education in Dallas ISD. I've been in DeSoto, been in Fort Worth, Irving, and I was an administrator for Dallas King in Highland Hills, not too far where Wilma Hutchins is, where we had some situations not too long ago. My biggest thing is advocacy for our kids in education. My biggest goal a couple years ago, I don't know if you're familiar with Carter High School, the feeder pattern in Carter High School. Several years ago, they closed Hussey Middle School, which was a feeder pattern to Carter High School. I actually organized a committee. They had this thing called, Choice Schools? And I actually was able to get the packet for a choice school. Hussey was closed at the time. And I put the committee of all of the grant writers that I knew, all of the people who understood education. We proposed to reopen Hussey. What they did was they opened Hussey, but they didn't accept our, I guess you would say, principle that we chose. So what they did was turn down our packet. But the person who ended up taking the job gave me a call and said, "Pooh, look." And what they did was they told the person to follow everything that we wrote. So Hussey was the first middle school that was a STEAM school in North Texas. And the rationale for opening that school was because Carter High School, over the last 15 to 20 years, has had the largest population of African-American males in the ISD. So the rationale for having a STEAM school was because most parents understand African-American boys learn primarily by hands-on, manipulatives. So that was a rationale for us pushing the whole process.
My name is Brother Damon Jamil. I am, Sister Tony, thank you. This is a beautiful coming together. This is a beautiful moment. My heart and prayers go out to you, brother. I know, I can't even imagine what you might be going through right now. My work is centered around the healing work. I get in here with the youth, me and Brother Sharif, and we put together workshops that help them process their trauma. My background is in education and counseling. I taught in DISD for over 20 years. So I know firsthand what's going on with our children. There's a disconnect. Many adults, we tend to tell them what's going on with them. When you have an opportunity to listen to them, though, you really get to see where they are. We founded our work on Frederick Douglass, who left us the message of it is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. We take that wisdom and we flip it and we say we are broken men who are in the process of repairing ourselves and using that energy to build strong children, right? A lot of times we get on the other side and then we start figuring out all of the childhood trauma that has impacted us. And as we become men, we realize, man, I was doing this because when I was a little boy, this happened to me. right? But what that gives us an opportunity, I met a powerful young brother today, it gives us an opportunity to connect with them real time in their real experience as children growing up in environments such as this. So I am grateful for the panelists. I'm grateful for men being able to put down their egos and step into spirit and allow us to come together and really, really do this work. So I appreciate the opportunity, and let's see what happens.
Round of applause for all the panelists. I want to start here. Who in this audience is 19 and under? Could you please stand? I'm coming to you first. Check. My question to you, and this is open for you to say, what's your name? Tell everybody what's your name, your age, and what do you feel is going wrong in the community right now?
It's different for everybody growing up in different places. Like, some people spoon-fed. I never been spoon-fed. I had to get out here and go get it. My mama been a single mother all her life. Like, my dad ain't never been there, so like, my dad the whole street nigga. My dad, I get the street side from my dad, and I ain't never been around. That's what's crazy. Like, a lot of people judge young people, but y'all don't know what we go through for y'all to be judging us. So like, it's like, before you judge somebody, you should know their background. Like, I came from a dangerous, dumb background. Like, my whole family gangsters. Like, so what you expect? Like, this is all I grew up seeing. So what you think I'm doing? Like, and then I was just a project called mine. Like, you been around so long, you eventually go keep that up. Yes, sir. You can be from Florida. You can be from a neighborhood, gated community. You come to the hood over there, we gonna start doing the same stuff we doing. Really talking, we like, y'all try to help us, y'all say y'all gonna help us, but like, y'all got to be hands-on. Just talking and telling us y'all gonna do something, ain't helping nobody. We still dying every day. He could die. Really talk like, they could have went right worse in the wind if he wouldn't have thought like he would have thought like. That's all I'm saying. Like, what do y'all feel like y'all gonna do this gonna help us with nobody? Like, y'all come up here to speak to us, but I really want to know, like.
We got brother.
Right now, we're running the EYES program, which is Educated Youth Empowerment Systems that we are running at Kennedy Courage. It's a social and emotional learning. As we have all mentioned, we want us to understand what's going on the inside. How did we get here? The one who knows is the one who asks why. We got the issues. Okay, why do the issues exist? So through the EYES program that we ran it at Frederick Douglass Todd, but the coach he ran out of funds, so he couldn't get us into the pregame meal, so we canceled it for this year. But we in Kennedy Curry and we running these programs. We in the recreation center running programs. We got Father of the Hood programs, the things that we need to sew ourselves together. There in the city of Dallas, I work at John C. Phelps Recreation Center. I'm readily available. You got my number, you can call me anytime.
Okay. If you have time, if you have the heart, if you have the capacity to mentor or help another brother who has a program, make sure you get with this brother. Kennedy Curry is in the southernmost part of Dallas County, Highland Hills, 75241 zip code. If you have time, and the reason we're doing it like this is because it's about collaboration. You don't necessarily have to go create your own organization. He has one. Don't recreate 50,000 wheels and we don't have a structure to put on it. He's already got the wheels, let's put something on it. So what I like to do is challenge each of the men here to get with this brother Landers and see if you have time to participate, see if you have time to engage with him so that we can begin to answer the questions that these young men have. Now,
we need manpower. The brother said that, we absent fathers. How many of you grew up without your father? How did you learn how to be a man? I'm talking about men. Because we hit the streets. or you join a gang, or you join another organization because you want to be with your partners, but the thing is you're looking for leadership, and leadership is not there because the male is absent and the female is running the household. And so as a young man growing up watching my mama struggle, as what he's saying, you have all of these thoughts and you start thinking about how people, why they even down here talking to me? Why they even saying anything to me and they really not gonna do nothing? So that's where the problem is that we really don't have men. That's why every Monday night we have manhood class, because we don't have men. And we need men and they need men. And our sisters need men, real men, who are not afraid of anybody and understand the underlying condition that's got us in this condition in the first place. So,
Zephaniah is my baby. Zephaniah came to me when he was a ninth grader here at Roosevelt. And when he walked in, he handed me a cross. And he read the scripture on the cross. He said, my name is Zephaniah Paul. I'm the chosen one. He is the chosen one. He has dropped out of school 3 times. I get in my car and I go to St. James where that boy is, and I bring him back to school. Because he has a 4.0 GPA. He's in collegiate. He plays football. My hood, this is where I gotta go back to. This is how I gotta live. I done been shot at. This baby done called me at 5 o'clock in the morning. I just can't do it, Miss Tony. What you doing? Hitting the lick. He'll tell you his story. Why are you doing it? This is how I gotta survive. So we can only do what we can do, and I'm so glad to see these men. I'm so glad I called him the other day. He said, I'll be there. When them babies got shot the other day with this coach right here, he didn't want to call me and say, Miss Tony, don't go to that school. That's the reason why DISD got that call for me to shut this school down on Friday because they know the streets, he know the hood, he know what's going on. And he said, it ain't gonna be good. And I've learned to not ask, I don't ask the question why. Because sometimes you don't want to know it. But I listen, and that's one of the things that I'm asking all y'all to do. You brothers out here, stop coming telling us what you're doing. Let them tell y'all what they need. Every day, young man said to me, I didn't bring a gun through the door every day, it stayed here. Because of what? Zeph said, 7 gangs in one school. Trustee Johnson, he hears us. But it's not just a school issue. They're bringing them from your houses. They bring them from the houses. They say you can get a gun before you can get a meal. I ain't gonna take me $20 to go get me a gun. And right now to hear him say, they're getting younger. They're getting younger, 12. And what he's saying, man, they stupid. They stupid, Miss Tony. They killing mamas. So I thank you all, Keo, I thank you. I thank you all men that have finally said, let's do this. I'm an action person, I'm about making it happen. Let's make it happen. If you start with him, but you got some more babies right here.
He's one of the smartest kids in this school. That's why Miss Tony tries to get him here. Because he has the opportunity to get out of this neighborhood, but because of his situation, he keeps getting drawn back. And that's why that's why I coach. I don't care about wins. Is it fun? Is it cool? Yeah. But we need to help these boys get out this neighborhood. I'm not from Dallas. I've been here 2 years. And I have dove head first into Roosevelt. I got phone calls, don't come here. It's not the place you want to be. I want to be here because I want to see kids like that get out of here.
Yeah.
We got to get him out of here.
Thank you, Joe.
And I'm gonna help your whole family, okay? And that's all I'm gonna do. If you say that you trust me to do that, I'm gonna make sure that we do it.
You're gonna help this community, you should be hands-on instead of sitting up here or talking about it, you should do it and be about it. Like, that's how I feel, that's all I got to say. Thank you.
That's all he got to say. Brother Zeph, we're going to report to you.
Some silences are heavy, sagging under the weight of words left unsaid by J.M. Green. We won't be quiet. We will not silence our no justice, no peace. Blacks, Latino, Asian, whites, all of us together. We stop locking black behind clenched teeth. Stop acting like it disappeared and embraced an ugly truth. We unlock tongues hidden between lying pages, Muffled fears written in books never to be heard, trapped in thickened throats, afraid of retaliation. A shout in our soul worthy of protest. Healing comes from a mouth open wide, full of fiery truth and redemption, standing against Confederate flags. Eye to eye with KKK and neo-Nazis. Hairs on the back of your neck alert, and you begin to question what year this is. As peace comes crashing into a light just beginning, a voice never heard until silence. Her name was Heather Hale. And that's how black can be. How loud black can get. Black be so bold, it get told to sit the hell down. Like our defense isn't warranted, like him making America great again didn't peel back hate. A civil war pressing its foot against our progress, flatlining our hope. Our black is always too black. Too afro puff and box braid, too presidential, not black enough to stand against police brutality, but too black to reclaim our time. Got us thinking we too black to love ourselves. Treating one another like we ain't more than two colors in a box, and I figure since bullets like flying, I'd send blood back to pierce blue skies, crippled from prayers unanswered. Not relating to who they're praying to, wanting to belong, wanting to be feared and not be fucked with. Meanwhile, children sleep on floors, flat on stomachs, dodging death while sprinting through life. This is for everyone waging war against themselves, standing for nothing and falling for everything. What color will the world be when the streets stop dripping red and blue? When you hold you accountable for you? What dreams can we truly build when we stop being silent? Dear America, this is not a petition for a peaceful rally. This is not a white flag waving. This is not an agenda to organize any marches. We are not begging for you to understand. We won't be using hashtags. This message won't be distracted with Black Lives Matter against All Lives Matter. You won't beat oppression across our back, panhandle our votes, lynch us with terrorism while sweeping racial genocide under your alternative facts. Your garbage reeks of lead covered in stolen legacy. We won't be merciful. We coming for justice. Freedom is our weapon. We reclaiming our time. This is the battle cry, the great resurrection, the rooster coming home to roost. Our nightmare turned reality, the rise of the black nation you have always feared. This will not be another moment in time that simply passes. We aren't taking it over, we're taking it back. America's racism breeds terrorists, trying to purify a white nation, trying to make black extinct, but black is immortal. Black don't die. Black fades back to black, comes back blacker than before. Tell your master. We ain't gonna be no good house niggas. Tell your Senate, your Congress, your representatives, the laws they created to enslave my people is the base we blast into the boogaloo. We remember too much. Been born too many times, too full of no fucks and thirsty for revenge. Dr. Cornel West, when they ask you, what do we want? You tell them everything.
As an introduction to Dr. West, from Sacramento, California. Born and raised, such as myself, and my brother Clifton as well, his brother. But I grew up listening to him. My mother said, listen to that man right there. He's speaking. He's saying something that I want you to resonate with. He's saying something that I want you to embrace, embody. Didn't know why. Young, Sacramento, California, wild, having fun. But my mom was an educator. So she made you sit down and listen. It's not go sit in the corner. She made you sit down and listen. Now, let me tell you what that did. When I came to Texas, I became a single father, 2 children. Matter of fact, today is my daughter's 26th birthday. Happy birthday, Alexia. I raised both of my children by myself. No family here. From Sacramento, California. I have my good friend, John Bruner, one of Cornel's fraternity brothers. Second day that I stepped foot in Texas, from Los Angeles, I met John, Gino, and some other people. But let me tell you what happened. What I was raised with, by listening to a brother like Dr. Cornel West, he gave me the strength to be a single parent, raising 2 children, one in college, one away from college with their own business. So when people say you go through things, you're gonna go through things. But by faith, it brought me through things, which makes me not stronger than any one of you guys, but a person that really believes and have built his life on faith. But saying that, I'm not gonna hold you guys any longer. I want to introduce you guys to somebody that means the world to me, in multiple reasons. Dr. Cornel West.
What we heard today was about how you de-niggerize a people. That's what we're talking about. Never forget what Henry Highland Garnett said in 1837, the first time black folk were able to organize in Philadelphia, and it was the free Negroes in the North rather than the enslaved Africans, still full of dignity but subjugated in the South. He said, black people never confuse our situation with that of the Israelites in the Old Testament. For black people, Pharaoh was on both sides of the bloody Red Sea. That's Henry Highland Garnett. He gave up his right leg for the struggle of black freedom. You can see him now on his crutch, probably with a little gangster lean. But when you get baptized in the right way, I'm talking about that thick blood at the cross. I ain't not that little thin stuff some of these churches now too often talk about. That thick stuff that'll transform your life and straighten your back up and make you free and de-niggerize yourself so that you can become a soldier that puts the least of these, the 25th chapter of Matthew, at the priority. What you do to the prisoners, what you do to Jamal and Letitia on the block and in the hood or in the burial, poor folk, whoever, oppressed forever. That's the measure of your greatness, moral greatness, spiritual greatness. We're not talking about just narrow financial success. We're talking about greatness. Black people at our best have been a great people. And we need to continually connect to those roots. That's the only way you keep fighting in the face of overwhelming odds. It's the only way you're able to preserve an example. That young brother who was talking, he kept coming back over and over again to action, action, example. It was a beautiful thing, the exchange. Brother offered a job, a beautiful thing. Brother offered 4 hours, beautiful thing. That ain't nothing but love and care and concern. That ain't nothing but the love train. How do we keep that going? One of the reasons why we have such a deep crisis among our precious young folk is that they haven't been loved enough. They haven't been attended to enough.